We back, and I'm here to talk about that parcel back there, which I've had an interesting time with. As you can see, it's no longer lost. It is back there now. We're talking today about Parcelforce, why they suck, as you can tell by the title of the video, and why this parcel was missing. I hope that my little story here is at least entertaining for you. You might be a little incredulous as to how a company can be so incompetent. On the other hand, maybe it's completely expected. After all, when did shipping companies ever have a good reputation? We're just here to ruin it a little bit more, because I've got a bit of an interesting story. I'm going to tell you about this parcel, which contains some anime figures, which we've got here. There were a few of these in it. If you want to know more about them, I made a video about them, and I will be posting it on my second channel, along with all of the other figure-related videos. So feel free to check that out. The link will be on my channel somewhere. I'm sure you can find it in the channels page, something like that. But let's get started with the story, shall we? Because that's what we're here for. So, the parcel. This is a parcel that I ordered back in November. So, you know, about 3 months ago. And it was to take 10 days to ship. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it's been more than 10 days since November. And the parcel arrived today. Here in the UK, we had a couple strikes with shipping at the start of December. So already we have a perfectly reasonable explanation for why the parcel would take longer. And it did take a bit longer. It was ordered near the end of November, to be fair. It was like the 27th or something like that. And it arrived in the country on, I believe, the 15th. Here we go for your benefit. I've brought up the tracking page here. As you can see, parcel arrived in the 15th. Arrived at Destination Import Office. It's held for customs inspection. It cleared customs also on the 15th. There was some revised custom charges raised the next day, which were expected. This is fine. It was released from customs on the 16th. And then arrived at the post office on the 17th. And held at a delivery depot on the 19th. Now, as you can see, there's a bit of a time skip here. So for now, we'll end that on the 19th. So far, all is good. The parcel is here. It took an extra week or so to arrive because, you know, we had the shipping strikes. Fair enough, can't complain about that. But it's now here, it's in the country, it's past customs, it's at the depot, the local depot to me, I can confirm that, we'll get to that later. It's at the depot, it's ready to be shipped out. Now I need to pay the custom charges first. This is always how it works. I can go on the website and I can pay the customs charges and then they'll send it to me. This is all expected. Now, before I can do this, though, I need them to send me a reference number so I can prove that it's my parcel. I know which parcel I'm paying the charges for, etc., etc. So I check the tracking. I see that the parcel's here, and I'm currently waiting for them to send me my reference number. They don't send it. Good start. So we get to around Christmas, something like that. And I give them a ring, and I eventually get through to a real person who says that if I give him the tracking number, he will check on his system to see if the parcel is there and if it has customs charges, and then let me pay them. All good. He says it's not there. Not so good. I know it's there. Tracking says so. So I say, what do you mean it's not there? What do you mean? And he says it's not in the country. Like it's there, then they're gonna ship it, but it's not in the country yet. Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it says on the tracking that it arrived. It's got all those things that I showed you. It says it cleared customs and it arrived at the post office, arrived at the depot. Where did they come from if it's not in the country yet? He says no, it's not in the country. Try again later. So I do. Try again. A couple of days later, I ring them again and I say, hey, this parcel, yeah. It's still meant to be in the country. I've been told it's not in the country. Different answer this time. Yeah, no, we're not delivering it. It's just not with Parcelforce. try with Royal Mail. Well, that doesn't make much sense. It says Parcelforce on the tracking, and Parcelforce have tracked it. It says it's at Parcelforce's depot, and Royal Mail is not mentioned anywhere. So, why do you think it's with Royal Mail? I was like, no, it's not us. Try Royal Mail. Interesting. Admittedly, I didn't try Royal Mail because I know it's not with Royal Mail. What I did try is USPS though. Parcel's coming from America. USPS sent it on the American end. I'll ring them and see what they know about it because, hey, maybe it's not in the country yet. Maybe the tracking is wrong. I'll ring them and ask. You know what USPS say? They say, yeah, we've handed it over to Parcelforce already. It's in the country. You need to ask them about it. Yeah. So neither of you have the parcel then. And this is where the search for the missing parcel begins, because both of the companies that are meant to be handling the parcel have not got it. Now, to be fair, USPS isn't meant to have the parcel. The tracking says they've given it to Parcelforce. I have that as a record. USPS agrees with it. I decided to believe them and go with Parcelforce has lost it. I ask the sender to initiate a missing mail search because this apparently has the gives the ability to USPS to search through the British database to try and find the parcel. He agrees, so that was started, as you saw on the tracking. Here it is, 30th of December, missing mail search request initiated with USPS. They are now looking for the parcel. I see this go up, but of course, I don't really want to wait for it. We're going to give them another call. So we get to the 31st. 31st being New Year's Eve. I ring them again. Get a different person again. That's a different answer again. This time, it's an answer that makes sense. Good stuff. They say, yes, we have the parcel. It's been here since the 19th. Huh. Funny that. It's at the depot you thought it was. Huh. What do you know? I thought it was at that depot. It has a customs charge. Yes, that's what the tracking says. They give me the value of the customs charge, which I won't disclose, and regardless, I can't remember exactly what it was anyway, but they tell me how much the customs charge is, and they say, yes, if you want to pay it, you can. Now, we have a slight issue. It's New Year's Eve. I'm not at my house right now. I've gone to visit my family for New Year's. If I pay the customs charge now, they're going to deliver the parcel. I'm not going to be there. So I think I won't pay it right now. I'll wait a few days. I know they ship it out pretty quickly after you pay the customs charge. They always do. I've done this before. And they say it'll take 3 days as well. So if I pay the customs charge in a couple of days, then 3 days after that, I'll be back home. I can pick up the parcel. Should be all good. So I'm like, all right, that's very helpful. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Put down the phone. One helpful person at Parcelforce. Thank you to that person. Didn't remember your name. I'm sorry, but she was good. She was also the only female I talked to. Coincidence? Now, I said before, when paying the customs charge, you need the reference number to make sure that it's your parcel and all the rest of it. I didn't have the reference number. This is still true. You may have noticed that I said that they would do it with just the tracking number, but this is a little weird, given that I said you need the reference number. These are not the same thing. The reference number is private information, kind of, whereas the tracking number is, in theory, public. So, how did I get around that? Well, what they do is they ask you a security question. When you come to them and you say, yes, this is the tracking number, I would like to pay the customs charge on it, what they ask you is where it's being shipped to, the address. And as long as you can answer that correctly, then you're all good. Now, when I talked to the woman on the 31st, she asked me what the address it was being shipped to, and I answered incorrectly, actually, by mistake. I got my house number wrong, just straight up. I said 451 as opposed to 541. Yes, congratulations. If you want me to track me down, I live at number 541 of one of the roads in the country. Good job. But yes, I slipped up. I said the wrong number. And she was like, can you say that again, actually? And then I corrected myself, and she was like, oh yes, everything's fine then, you got the right address. You may think this is a weird thing to mention, but what it proves is that they have the address, and that they know what the address is, they're doing the security check properly, and that me giving the correct address is what got me through the security check. This information, unfortunately, is necessary context for my next phone call, where I come to pay the customs charge. They ask me for the security question, I tell them the address correctly, and they say, the parcel doesn't have an address. You cannot pass the security check. What? It doesn't have an address? Where are you sending it then? We don't know where we're sending it. It's not in the country yet. Right. Good. They've lost the parcel again. Not only is it not in the country, it doesn't have an address. They don't know anything about it until it's been given its British tracking number. So I say, you knew about it when I rang the other day. You told me how much the customs charge was. You confirmed the address that it was being sent to and the depot that it was located at. Say, no, we don't give out any of that information without passing the security check. But I did. You see the issue here. This is not how any of this is meant to work. So, it's a bit of back and forth where I try and convince them that it's at the depot I say it at, and it's going to the address I say it at. The custom charge equals the thing I say it does, and they keep just saying it doesn't exist. Now, remember the bit where I said I was with my parents over New Year? My mum gets a little uppity about these kind of things, and so when I mentioned the problem to her, she said, oh, well, I'll give them a ring then. Or she gave them a ring. You know, you don't want to be on the other end of the phone when my mum's ringing. She gave them the right stern talking to, I'll tell you. She's a teacher. Teachers can do right stern talking tos. They gave her the same answer they gave me. It's not really surprising. But what she did successfully do was make the guy on the other end of the phone very angry. So, you know, that's great. This actually gave us some more information. Because he said, yes, this call counts as a complaint. It is being recorded. Oh, recorded is it? So you mean to say that's personal data? You're using my voice? You're saving it? Now, I am a computer scientist. I know about the Data Protection Act. I know that you cannot store data like this without consent, and you have to make it available to those who it is about. Now, they have the implicit consent because it says at the start of each phone call that it's going to be recorded. Sure, but I can request a copy of the calls. I'm smart, I know this. So that's what I do, because then I have evidence of the phone call where they told us where the parcel was, the depot that it was at, the customs charge, the address, and the rest of it. I can have that as evidence, and I can take it to them and say, look, this is what you said before, why have you changed your mind? So I submit a request asking for the copies of the phone calls. This is a thing you can do. I just rang them up, and I said, hey, can I request a copy of the phone calls? And they're like, yeah, we'll put you through to the data security bit. Here you go. We'll come back to this fact later. Meanwhile, the parcel has been in the country, since the 19th, which is now about 3 weeks previous. 3 weeks past the 19th is what, the 8th, maybe the 9th? And it is approaching this date fast. This is relevant because Parcelforce will keep parcels in the country for 3 weeks before returning them to sender. If I don't pay the customs charge before that time is up, they will return the parcel to America again. Issue being, of course, I can't pay the customs charge because they refuse to let me. One thing I do regret is not asking that woman on the 31st if she could give me the reference number, because then I might not have been in this problem. Admittedly, I was under the impression that the tracking number and address would work, because they worked, but I digress. I give them another call as a last-ditch effort to get the parcel. They tell me it doesn't exist, just at all. Parcel isn't on the system. Wonderful. Things only get worse, I suppose. Not only is the parcel not in the country, it now just doesn't exist. Good job, Parcelforce. Don't know what to expect at this point. So I pretty much give up with that. And unsurprisingly, a couple days later, we get these messages pop up on the tracking. Import cancelled, returned to sender, en route to hub, not England. Customs charges unpaid. Now, on the one hand, this is reasonable. It's been 3 weeks. Of course it's being returned to the sender. On the other hand, this is unreasonable. Why would it be returned to the sender when you haven't even given me the option to pay the customs charges yet? That's completely unfair. Well, that's Parcelforce for you. Notice that these tracking items have come from Parcelforce, despite the fact that Parcelforce has told me repeatedly, in fact, the day before probably, that the parcel simply doesn't exist. So Parcelforce is just doing a fantastic job right there. They've lost the parcel, we found the parcel, decided the parcel doesn't exist, decided the parcel isn't in the country, just generally not knowing anything about the parcel, decided the parcel didn't have an address to go to, and then sent the parcel away. So, yeah, good stuff, makes sense. Meanwhile, I requested for the copies of my phone calls with Parcelforce because this seemed like a smart thing to do. I get an email from the Parcelforce Data Security Department. Yes, the phone calls don't exist. Oh, wonderful! You've lost those as well, have you? So I won't be having the recorded phone calls of my conversations, which sounds kind of illegal to me because I know they recorded them. I had it on the word of the guy that said they had recorded them, as well as the Data Security Department who said that they existed and they were there and every phone call was recorded, and the person that I called originally to ask for the phone calls who also confirmed that all phone calls are recorded. But the phone calls don't exist, so I don't have the recordings. Otherwise, I'd probably be playing them as part of this video. I don't have many options left at this point, so I message the original sender and I say, look, parcel's been sent back to you. I was unable to pay the customs charges, they didn't let me. Mind that I've been in contact with the original sender throughout the whole process, really, updating him, asking him to send out missing mail searches and all the rest of it. We're both generally reasonably annoyed with them. Of course, I'm more annoyed than he is. It's my parcel. But anyway, he knows about this situation, so he says, yes, we'll send it out again. But they didn't send it to me, they sent it to my brother. Right, I say. So you don't have the parcel either? No, he says, my brother has the parcel. Nice. My brother will send it out to you. Okay, cool. Sorted. Doesn't bother me who manages that. Get the parcel sent out. But we'll need to buy a new box because it's damaged. Sorry, what? They damaged the box as well. Not only did they lose the parcel for 3 months, but then they damaged the box. Aha. Wonderful. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So naturally he charges me for shipping again, which, you know, fantastic. And then buys a new box and charges me for that. And then ships it out again. So, just fantastic. What he says though, maybe let's use a different service this time. So, we did. We used a different service this time. It came via UPS. It arrived in 5 days. It's here now. You can't imagine that I'm all too pleased with Parcelforce. What I did with all this information, sent them a complaint to their complaints department in the email, because why not, I suppose, might as well send a complaint. I won't go through all the back and forth that I had. It took me a while to convince them that there was even a problem, because they would say that, you know, the parcel doesn't exist, basically. And I would say, no, it does, I know it exists. And they would say, no, it doesn't, it's not on our system. But eventually I persuaded them that the parcel at least had existed at some point, because they had told me about it, and the tracking said that it was in the country, as did the updates that they had given me. And so the end result was that they said they don't know, which is just wonderful. Like, that's just exactly what they said. I was like, can you explain all of this stuff that's gone on? And they said no. No, I can't explain it. I do not think there was a single bit of Parcelforce that was helpful. Their shipping obviously doesn't work. Customer service obviously doesn't work. Their data security department doesn't work. Their complaints department also doesn't work. There isn't anything else left, really. The only good bit was that one woman on Christmas Eve who actually knew where the parcel was. Why did she know where it was and the rest of the company didn't? Not a clue. Complaints department couldn't figure that out either. But she did. So we'll give her props for that. I guess it was on the system that day. Schrodinger's parcel. I don't know. But yeah, just in general, they could not get a single thing right. And the only reason the parcel is here now is because we got UPS to deliver it instead. I'm ecstatic. That being said, the figures are great. We love the figures. And, you know, it's here now. So that's good. That's good. I shan't complain any longer. That was basically the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed my little story. I hope I get many comments saying, wow, what the fuck, Parcelforce? How did you mess this up so badly? Who knows, maybe Parcelforce will lose a customer or two, maybe it'll have an effect. Probably not. Probably it'll do nothing. But, you know, if you've got some Parcelforce horror stories that you fancy sharing as well, go ahead. And meanwhile, I will, I don't know, use UPS instead. They seem to manage it. That being said, this has been a longer video than I intended, which I guess probably should have guessed, really. And I shan't waffle any further. I don't have much else to say. The story is over. The parcel has arrived. Parcelforce is rubbish, as the title of the video says. So I'll be leaving this video here. Bye!